Happening now, a possible warning for Iran. Fox News can now report the Pentagon is upgrading its largest conventional bombs, making them more precise and giving them more burrowing power. These bunker buster bombs could enable the U.S. military to destroy Iran's heavily defended and in some cases deeply buried nuclear sites. Michael Singh, former senior director of Middle Eastern Affairs at the National Security Council, joins us now. Hi, Michael. How are you?
Hi, Arthel.
So do you feel like this is more of a power move, a bully move, if you will, or is there a real cause for concern?
Well, look, I think that as part of a strategy to try to deter Iran or dissuade Iran from continuing with its nuclear weapons program, we need to have a credible military threat. We talk about military options being on the table, but you have to have more than just talk if the Iranians are going to believe that. And this sort of step, taking improvements on this very large bunker-busting bomb, which really only has one target in mind, that buried nuclear facility called Fordo in Iran, is certainly one step to establish that military credibility.
And it has that target because that particular nuclear enrichment plant is underground, deeply underground. So how accurate is this 30,000-pound bunker buster bomb we're talking about?
Well, I couldn't tell you specifically. I don't know. But essentially the way these bombs work, any bunker buster like this, is it burrows into the ground and has a delayed fuse, and then it explodes underground, essentially. And the bigger the bomb, the bigger the explosion. And that's the operative principle here.
And the bottom line is because you can't get the Fordo by air, so you've got to go down deep under. So that's the main idea there. But let's talk about Ahmadinejad. I think you can talk about that for sure. And his reaction. The idea is to say once again, hey, listen, if you don't come to the table with more diplomacy, if you will, this is what could happen to you. This is what's looming in your future. But is he listening? Does he ever?
Well, right now, I would say, Arthel, that Iran is sort of consumed with domestic politics. So when you ask about Ahmadinejad, he's ending his term as president and is very focused on getting his sort of hand-picked successor elected against really the opposition of almost the entire political class in Iran. And so Iran is looking very inward right now. But I think that still they will take note of these kinds of signals. Plus, for example, the military hardware that we just recently promised to the Israelis, like mid-air refuelers. I'll say, though, that Arthel, it goes beyond just the hardware. It goes beyond just the capacity to attack. I think we also need to show that we have the will to attack Iran to make this military threat credible. And as we kind of sit here passively looking at a situation like Syria, even as Assad, for example, crosses the president's red lines, as we look at what's happening in North Korea and don't really do anything, we haven't yet, I think, established that we have the will to act in Iran. And
of course, you mentioned the upcoming elections in Iran happening in June. If, in fact, there is a new regime or a current regime or something similar to a current regime in terms of principles, do you think anybody's listening if there's no punch or no bite to the bark?
Well, there has to be that bite. I think you have to have a comprehensive strategy against Iran. The sanctions are a part of that. The nuclear negotiations are a part of that, even though they haven't really gone anywhere for all these years. But a vital part of it is this idea that we have a military threat that is credible on the table, because ultimately the regime, I think, will only compromise if it fears for its own survival. And I'm just not sure they fear that right now.
I have to go, but of course we just leave it out there. There's, of course, Israel, and wondering if this now new development with this bunker buster will increase or decrease their chances of a unilateral bombing of Iran. So, unfortunately, I have to leave it there. It's a teaser. We'll talk about it next time. Michael Singh, thank you very much.
Thanks, Arthel.